pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
Welcome in to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you search Picks and Parlays, we're usually the first thing that pops up on all of those social media platforms if you want to tune in that way. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger, and also I'm here every weekday 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. Today is Wednesday, September 18th. Man, September is just rolling along. Before you know it, it'll be fall, even though Las Vegas still is not feeling like fall. Still definitely in the 90s out here. Leadoff segment today, we're talking baseball with Craig Trapp, White Sox, Twins, Rays, Dodgers, and Rangers, Astros, where the Astros were as high as minus 500. Is anyone brave enough to take that? We're not. We'll kind of break down the reasons maybe why you should stay away from that. And, you know, you could win a lot of money if you hit on the Rangers on that one. Also, a bonus pick from Craig Trapp in our first segment. When it comes to college football, we're talking Notre Dame, Georgia. Georgia is favored by 14 points, which, yes, Georgia has looked really good, but 14 points is a lot to cover, especially against a Notre Dame team that's pretty good in their own right. Moving on to our second segment, we've got college football with Sean Higgs. Yeah, even more college football because there's a lot of it. Starting with Texas A&M and Auburn, where Texas A&M favored by 3.5. Oklahoma State, Texas, UCLA, and Washington State. Washington State, big favorites in that one at minus 18.5. And something funny, if you're looking for a little humor, Washington State, their head coach, Mike Leach. If you don't know him, he's a really eccentric guy and he's really funny. He had this rant on YouTube this week about the Pac-12 mascots and who would win in a fight between all those mascots. And it's really insightful, including all the mascots and why they might win. And then finally, we've got NFL with Tony T taking on 3 games today. And for the first time in 32 years, the NFL has had multiple 20-plus point spreads for 2 teams, the Patriots and the Cowboys, over the Jets and Dolphins. We'll talk about those big point spreads when we come back on Picks and Parlays Radio. But first, we're getting to some baseball with Craig Trapp. Stay with us after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio.
Now's the time to travel and be with the people you care about the most. And at Holiday Inn and Holiday Inn Express, we're helping you be there for less. Save at least 25% at thousands of hotels worldwide if you book by September 24th. You won't want this moment to pass you by. So book today at holidayinn.com. Terms and conditions apply.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn bonus points on more than 250 offers. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store today or browse through our offers at O'ReillyAuto.com, where you can earn double points shopping online. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, travelers. Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Are you an active stock market investor? Well, then you know these three key words: buy, sell, hold. Those three magic words can make or lose you money in the stock market. What if we can show you a time-tested tool that's been helping stock market investors succeed for over 30 years? It's called VectorVest, an amazing system designed to make smart investing easy. The VectorVest system analyzes, sorts, and ranks over 19,000 stocks every day and tells you when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell any stock to maximize your profits in less than 10 minutes a day. And if you call right now, you can test drive our amazing VectorVest system risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95.
800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. That's 800-584-2519.
And we're back here on Picks and Parlays Radio, here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you search Picks and Parlays, usually the first thing that pops up. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger. And we've got Craig Trapp joining us. Hello, Craig.
How we doing, Chelsa? Big day here, of course. Turning point of the week, hump day. Got a little baseball talk, and then the featured game of the week, Georgia and Notre Dame. Excited to talk.
Right. All right. So let's dive into some of these baseball games because we do have some baseball left. I know a lot of people forget that it's baseball season, but it certainly is, and there's certainly plenty of ways to win when it comes to baseball. Let's start with the White Sox and the Twins. The Twins are favored in this one, minus 260, big favorites. The total sits at 10.5. Opening thoughts on this one?
Well, surprised that the odds moved down on this one. The odds opened at actually Minnesota 268 and moved down to 260. So that tells me, maybe you had some sharp money coming in on the White Sox initially. But I'm a little shocked there because I just think Minnesota, just the clearly better team in this matchup. And the total on this one went from 10 to 10.5, which this time of year I think the over bettors have really jumped on the ship. So that's not a shock there.
All right, so let's dive into this pitching matchup. It's Ivan Nova going for the White Sox. I don't know if you remember, but he used to pitch for the Yankees. He used to be a starter, but he's going to be used as an opener today, which means he's not going to be pitching many, if more than one innings. He's 10-12 with a 4.86 ERA going against Jake Odorizzi of the Twins, who is 14-6 with a 3.60 ERA. And last outing, you might have seen that he's only pitched 2 innings, but that was because of a thunderstorm and a rain delay. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Pitching-wise, how do you see this one going?
Well, about a month ago, I thought Nova was a very good underdog type because you were getting him at great prices all the time. Still getting him at great prices, but his last 4 starts have been oh so bad. 5 earned runs, 3 innings last time. 2 starts back, 3 earned runs in 5.2. 3 back, 6 earned runs in 4 innings. So going the wrong direction here. I think you have to fade him, even though, like you said, I think you're going to only see him go 2 to 3 innings. It hasn't mattered. He's been giving up the same amount of runs if he goes 3 or 5 innings. And I think the Minnesota Twins are clearly the play here. You just got to figure out how to get some value. And to me, that means you lay the run line and get it at, instead of minus 260, we get this at minus 150.
Right, and the Twins do have some good power hitters. I believe they have 3 hitters with 30 home runs or more. They've been the bomb squad this season. They have a lot of home runs. So if Ivan Nova gets in trouble and, even walks a couple guys, that's people on base for this Twins lineup that can really knock them in. Do you see the Twins lineup scoring a lot of runs here?
Well, yes, I do, and I think that's why you lay the run line here. I don't think there'll be any problem. Minnesota has won the last 5 head-to-head matchups this year, and they've covered the run line in every one except last night. So I think there's that trend continues tonight. Last night they won 9-8. I think it's going to be they're going to score around that 9 tonight. I think it's more like 9-4, 9-3 type game, and so the overs I think also a solid play tonight. But my top play would be the run line. You lay the -1.5, you get it at -150 with the Minnesota Twins.
All right, let's move on to the Rays and the Dodgers. The Dodgers have been one of those teams that's incredible at home. They're 57-20 when playing in LA, which is where this one's at. The Rays, you know what? They're not huge underdogs in this one. The Dodgers are only -127, and I think that's probably because Tony Gonsolin is on the mound, who's not. I mean, his numbers are good, 3-2 with a 2.83 ERA, but he's not Clayton Kershaw or Ryu, some of those guys that they have. Brendan McKay on the mound for the Rays, 2-4 with a 5.27 ERA. The Rays are 4-6 in his starts. Thoughts on the line and the pitching matchup?
Well, the line here, actually, it's very similar. I thought this line was going to go way up. I see it pretty steady here in between -125 and -130. The total in between 8.5 and 9. Last night was a lot of runs, 7-5. The Dodgers won. Beating, of course, Blake Snell, only went 2 innings last night. And I think this one, I think the Rays have an outside chance. But to me, you just can't bet against the Dodgers at home. I mean, amazing, 57-20 at home. And the Tampa Bay is not terrible on the road, 46-31. But I just can't make money betting against the Dodgers. So to me, I turn to a total on this one. And I think this one's going to be a little better pitching matchup tonight. I like the under 8.5 tonight in LA.
All right, let's go to the Rangers and the Astros, where the Astros are astronomical favorites in this one. Some places have them as high as -500. So the Rangers +400, +425. It depends on where you get it. Any way you're laying the Astros on this one?
No way. The only way I think people play the Astros if you're playing the money line is if you're a parlay guy today and you parlay, say right. 3 of the favorites and you're looking at even money. But to me, that's just not my game, not something I'm ever going to lay over -165, 170. And I think that you have to look at the underdog here. I just think there's a little value here with the Texas team that hasn't won forever in this series. I know Houston has won 1, 2, 3. They've won the last 6 head-to-head matchups this year. But you give me +400, +350. This is one you have to shop around because it's anywhere from +350 to +400. I'm going to take the underdog Texas Rangers. Even the best team loses 1 out of 4 games, and I'm hoping that happens tonight.
I was going to say, I didn't even do much research on this one just because if you win so big, and if you lose, I mean, Garrett Cole is pitching for the Astros, and yeah, he's been really good, but just the chance you have to win a lot of money. I think you got to take the Rangers here. All right, so let's move on to college football. We've got a few minutes left. Notre Dame and Georgia. Georgia is the number 3 team in the land. Notre Dame, number 7, I think. I wrote that right. Georgia is favored by 14 points, and that's what puzzles me because 14 points is a lot. Yeah, Georgia's really good, but Notre Dame is not a terrible team. Do you think they can cover?
Well, I think the problem with Notre Dame, it's definitely a perception problem, and it's a reality problem as well. They have not been good against the best teams, the really fast teams, the really big teams. I mean, it goes back to when they lost to Alabama 42-14 in 2013, the national championship game. Last year when they lost 30-3 to Clemson, and they're only 5-13 in bowls going back to 1993, which tells you those are usually when they're playing the best teams in the nation. I just think, to me, you look at this, I think you have to lay the points with Georgia because until Notre Dame proves that they can stand up against the big boys, you have to lay the big number. Georgia won as an underdog just a couple years ago. Jake Fromm's first start, and since then, of course, he's made every start. I think Jake Fromm's going to have a big game, and I think Notre Dame's in big trouble. And I'm a Notre Dame fan, so when you're betting against Notre Dame and you're a Notre Dame fan, that tells you something. Right,
because the public loves Notre Dame, but you know what? They also love the SEC. So Georgia does have that bias for them, but they've outscored opponents 148-23 this season. Granted, they haven't played anybody too tough. Vanderbilt probably being their toughest opponent on the road. And what worries me about Notre Dame, they rank 120th in rush defense. And I don't know if you know too much about Georgia, but it's running back you. They have 5 running backs that can do damage. They had their 5th-string running back that was scoring touchdowns in their last game, and he looked pretty good. So that's what worries me about Notre Dame. It's just 14's a big number.
Yeah, well, DeAndre Swift is an absolute superstar. 31 carries, 290 yards. I mean, over 8.5, 9 yards. I think that is, average, 2 touchdowns. And he, like you said, he's not playing at the end of these games. And these numbers would be ridiculous. Jake Fromm's numbers would be ridiculous. Most of these guys aren't even playing most of the games. I just think Louisville showed me something against Notre Dame, and I think Georgia's just way more talented than obviously Louisville, and I think it's going to show between the hedges tonight, at night this week. I just think Georgia's too much, and I think this is a show-me game. I like Brian Kelly as a coach. I just think he doesn't have the horses that Georgia does.
We talked about this before the show. The only thing that worries me is when I watch the Texas A&M and Clemson game, garbage time touchdowns matter. So do you think Georgia can have a big enough lead so Notre Dame can score a garbage time touchdown?
Well, I think Georgia's as good as, or very close to where Clemson was last year when they played in the bowl game. I think Notre Dame might be worse, at least what we've seen so far. So to me, it was 33 last year, neutral field. I like Georgia in the points here.
Georgia is very good at home. They've got a nice home crowd advantage. All right, that's our college football talk and baseball talk. We're back after the break with more college football talk because it's football season. We're back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit, and 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you search Picks and Parlays, usually the first thing that pops up, and you can tune in that way. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me every day on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger, and right now we've got Sean Higgs joining us. Hello, Sean.
Hello, Chelsea. How are you today?
Doing good. I heard you had a good weekend in college football. Last weekend, 8-1.
Yeah, 8-1. That's kind of, we had to Houston, so heading in, whatever, we'll count that Friday game, 8-1. And the only loser, Alabama, got backdoored there with 11 seconds. Otherwise,
I had
clean
that
sweep.
game.
But yeah, hey,
that was maddening.
I'll take 8-1. That's a nice day.
All right, so let's get to some of these games for this weekend. Let's start off with number 8 Auburn at number 17 at Texas A&M, where the Aggies are favored by 3.5. First off, let's talk about the spread and the total, 47.5. Do you like, love, or hate the spread here?
You know what? I guess it's where it should be, right? I mean, you got a freshman quarterback in Nix coming to town. This isn't. We saw what he did against Oregon. That's great. That was a great showing. But this is a tough place to play. This isn't going to be easy here. We got a little revenge action, right? 28-24 last year.
Right.
I think the defense is a little better for A&M than what they saw in Oregon and even Tulane, obviously. I'm liking the home team here. Listen. I was against them in that Texas State game. I thought, you know what, maybe they're not going to really show too much with Clemson on deck. They battled Clemson, and that's what really – I see this 3.5. I'm like, you know what? They held Clemson pretty much in check. They were right there. I mean, obviously, garbage touchdown for a cover for them. But otherwise, listen, I don't think Auburn's seen a defense like this. They were really good on the road. You go to Clemson and you play like that, you're automatically going to move up a little notch in my book. And listen, the 3.5, they want you. They're begging you to take Auburn here with that extra half point,
right,
thinking,
that little hook.
You know what, take it. I'm going the other way. I'm like, no way, this is a 10-point A&M win.
Oh, wow. A big hot take there. What worries me about Auburn is their slow starts. In every game this season, they're 3-0, but they've had slow starts in all of them, including that Oregon game, which took a little, half a miracle to win. Granted, it was a great win, but also against Tulane and Kent State. Kent State was actually leading that game 3-0. Kent State scored first, and Tulane limited Auburn to under 30 yards rushing in the first half. So for Auburn to go on the road, as you mentioned, it's a really tough place to play. If they have another slow start, the home crowd's really going to be into it. And that might spell trouble for a freshman quarterback who's making his first real road start. Because, he played against Oregon. That was a lot of pressure, but it wasn't an away team. Auburn still had a lot of fans. It was a neutral site. So that's what worries me about Auburn. But can they keep it close?
You get down 21-6. They get down 21-6 like they were against the Ducks. Game over. It's going to get ugly real fast.
Right.
So, listen, A&M's the play here. That's
wow.
Nothing else to say. Forget Bo Nix. Goodbye. Good night. A&M to the bank.
No faith in Auburn, huh? I think Auburn is a good team, but I think they need to get some things sorted out when they're starting games that slowly. Because they can't out-talent Texas A&M.
Listen, I'm flying in Friday because I'm going out. I'm going to go to the Area 51 raid. There's more faith in me caging an alien than Auburn covering this game. All right?
I saw that on your Twitter. That was so funny. I didn't know that was still on. Is that still a thing, the Area 51 raid?
I don't know. I got to bring my taser out there so I can zap these little guys. Try to get away from me. I got to try to tackle one.
You're going to bring an alien date to
It's Area 51 or Life is Beautiful. I don't know what to do on a Friday night. It's in the air.
Well, that's an interesting turn that I did not see coming. Just want to reiterate, Sean Higgs is 8-1 in his last weekend of college football picks, and you can get his season package for $5.99 on picksandparlays.net if you want to jump on some winners. Let's move on to our next game. Oklahoma State facing Texas. The number 12 Longhorns are favored in this one at -5.5. What do you see when you look at the spread?
and this has come down. I think this opened at 7, if I saw correctly. So people are having faith in Oklahoma State. I guess when you see, 52 and 56 and these big numbers put up, you're thinking, hey, I could get a touchdown or 6 or whatever, and you're going to hang tough. But I don't like it. You got Spencer Sanders, freshman quarterback, again, on the road here in Texas. And we've seen Texas put up some points. Now, LSU, I don't think Oklahoma State's an LSU-type team. I don't think they're couldn't compete with that LSU team. Burrows is on another planet right now. You're not going to see that out of Sanders. Texas defense, other than that, against Louisiana Tech and Rice, they were solid. Obviously, Okie State's got a little bit more talent than that, but I think Texas defense is going to show up here. I think Texas is going to put up 40-plus because Oklahoma State never stops anybody. I mean, they're Sooners light, except they can't score 60 every game. So, listen, I'm not high in Oklahoma State. The total tells you all you need to know. 73.5. That's a boatload of points. I mean, the over could be a play here. But I'll tell you what, I think the Longhorns defense kind of holds the team in check and maybe keeps them under 30. So maybe an under there, but I like Texas. 5.5, 5. It's more 5.5 now than the 5 we've seen starting to move. So I think the money's coming back on Texas as opposed to what it opened at. I don't know why. I mean, I guess at a touchdown you want to take a conference dog, but not me. Not with a freshman quarterback playing in Texas.
Right.
I'm on the Longhorns here.
I know. It's really hard to pick against Texas after watching that LSU-Texas game because, granted, Texas did lose and they didn't cover, but they looked really good in that game. And LSU is a top-tier team. Sam Ehlinger has 1,077 total yards through 3 games, which is a Texas record. So, yeah, their offense is pretty darn good. They've been averaging 355 pass yards per game. So do you think Oklahoma State can stop this Texas team when it comes to the pass game?
No. Texas is going to put up their 40-plus here. And Oklahoma State, I don't think they got the bullets. Not with a freshman quarterback on the road. I don't see it here. I mean, this isn't it's just different. You're coming in, you're not playing Tulsa, you're not playing Oregon State and crushing a bad Pac-12 team. And I was down on Texas this year. I saw that 9.5 wins. I'm like, I think everybody's jumping on these guys a little too much. And I liked LSU big over them, and they hung tough for battling the whole game. So, again, turning the tide here on Texas. They were a team that I was down on to start, but what I've seen out of them, I don't think Oklahoma State's stopping this team. They're going to go for 45, maybe even 50 against them. And if Oklahoma State gets 30, maybe. Tough spot for them. Again, freshman quarterback, we just talked about Bo Nix. Same thing. Now you're going into a hostile place. It's not easy. And relying not even a touchdown. I know that seems kind of square. I'm like, they just got won by a touchdown. I think this is going to be like a blowout. I think this could be a 20-point game.
Really liking the favorites this week. And also, note, Texas has a really good kicker, Cameron Dicker. He's made some really long field goals of over 50 yards. And as we've seen in college football, that can make a real difference. We've seen so many of these college kickers missing short field goals. So that's another way to get points.
Yeah, and we've seen the Colts miss some field goals too, so that's good for him to get drafted next year, right?
Oh, bless Adam Vinatieri's heart. I can't root against him. I feel really bad for him. All right, so let's move on to UCLA and Washington State. Speaking of feeling bad for people, UCLA is 0-3, and that includes 2 losses to teams that are not in Power 5 conferences. Granted, Cincinnati's a really good team. I'll give them that, but they also lost to San Diego State 23-14. Chip Kelly's squad has only scored 14 in all 3 of their games. Washington State is favored in this one, minus 18.5. Total sits at 57. Initial leanings on this one.
You mentioned that San Diego State loss, and I came back because I had UCLA over Craig's Bearcats, and I'm like, you know what? They got to take care of this team that scored 6 points against Portland. I mean, are you kidding me? No, I was just looking at my desk here. I'm looking for some chalk because, again, I got to go with the favorite here, 18.5, 20.5. Chip Kelly's got to be on the hot seat. This is pathetic. I thought the guy's going to improve a little bit this year. 14 points a game?
Right.
I mean, they're
for
terrible.
A guy that's supposed to be an offensive mind.
An offensive, exactly. And they look better towards the second half of the year. Looked like they were getting a little bit of the flow and the handle on what he wanted to bring to the table here as a coach. They've gone in reverse by by 2 years.
There's no signs of improvement. That's the problem. It's just like, I get it in his first year not being good because you don't get to recruit your own players and you kind of have to work with what you have. But this year, what's going on?
And even when they were losing, they're at least putting up some points at the end of last year. So it's like, all right, they're kind of getting it a little bit. And then you come in and, all right, the Bearcat game, Cincinnati's pretty tough. I get you're on the road, tough game there. But at home, San Diego State? I mean, then, listen, I had Oklahoma as my game of the week last night to truck these guys. They can't compete. Washington State isn't the Sooners, but give me some extra rest. Mike Leach at home, 10-3 ATS run versus Pac-12. And again, his mascot battles were pretty funny. I was watching, talk about the youth guy trading bow and arrows for guns and trees, and it was
I know, it was really funny. Mike Leach is certainly a character, and if you ever get a chance, watch some of his press conferences on YouTube because they are very funny. The mascot one that you mentioned coming from this week. So mascot head-to-head, Washington State, they're the Cougars, right? And then the Bruins. That's the only way I see UCLA winning.
Well, even in that, I mean, all right, you're a Bruin is a bear, but who knows? Maybe it's a baby little. At this pace, it's a little cub. He's not even. I'm just saying the way UCLA's playing, they're not a big grizzly.
I was gonna say I thought Bruin was just a normal bear.
Whatever. It's a baby
up on my mascot knowledge.
I'm gonna wrestle that to the ground, choke him out.
All right, so you're taking Washington State in the points here, as a big favorite here.
How about 11-2-1 ATS versus UCLA, this Washington State team?
Well, a lot of people have been beating UCLA. All right, I got to wrap it up.
18.5.
As always,
Good
thanks
night.
for your time, Sean.
Area 51 Friday, it's a party.
With NFL football on Picks and Parlays Radio.
Sites say they have the best prices, but Hilton.com has the price match guarantee. Look me in the eye. If you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off. Yeah, well, this is radio, so just stare at the radio. Hilton.com has the best prices. Pinky swear. Or, radio swear. Plus, you can choose your exact room and get free Wi-Fi. Cross my heart, stick a needle in my radio. Expect better. Expect Hilton.
Must be a Hilton Honors member. Applicable terms and conditions at Hilton.com. Pinky swear.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
Money Now 100 is not a lender, broker, or agent of any lender or financial advisor. We do not make loans or credit decisions. You must be 18 years or older and a U.S. resident to qualify. This is not an offer or solicitation to lend. I went to MoneyNow100.com and got the $5,000 I needed deposited in my account the next business day. If you need money for any reason, help is here. Go to MoneyNow100.com and get the money you need. Need to pay off credit card debt? Go to MoneyNow100.com. Need your car repaired? Need home improvement money? Visit MoneyNow100.com. If you need fast cash for any reason, go to MoneyNow100.com. Good, bad, or no credit at all. Go to MoneyNow100.com. You could get up to $5,000 as soon as the next business day. Go to MoneyNow100.com on your phone, tablet, or computer. Type in the address bar MoneyNow100.com. That's MoneyNow100.com.
Got an iPod? Into podcasting? Now you can get podcasts of all your favorite Sports Byline shows delivered right to your computer automatically, so you can listen when and where you want, as many times as you want, on your PC or on your iPod. Never miss your favorite show. Just go to sportsbyline.com and click on that Get Podcast button next to your favorite shows. Visit sportsbyline.com today.
And we're back on Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger and also right here every day, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern on Picks and Parlays Radio. Right now, let's talk a little NFL. We've got Tony T with us. Tony T, how you feeling heading into this week of NFL?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. Of course, NFL, it's looking like the NBA nowadays, with the players wanting to get out of town, they exit to other teams. And of course, we're starting to see teams tear apart their team earlier in the season. We saw that with the Raiders last year with Khalil Mack, of course, Cooper gone. And this year, well, with the Dolphins, they become a clearinghouse.
Right. And Jalen Ramsey requesting a trade, which.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, he's got his mouth, gets him in a lot of trouble, and I think it creates a lot of issues with the team and of course with the his professionalism. I don't think that's really healthy for an environment and for a culture. And of course, we saw the benching of Eli Manning here. We had talked about that before, and of course, Daniel Jones gained the start, but not too many playmakers around him.
Right. I was going to say, circling back to the Jags, isn't Tom Coughlin their GM?
He is. And
I don't see him loving the stuff that Jalen Ramsey does.
And much like the Giants culture, as you saw with OBJ, they get rid of players like that. And I think maybe they held on to him a little too long, and now they're paying for it a little bit, of course. But their bigger troubles was with Blake Bortles. Their quarterback situation was so bad for so many years that they had to finally take care of that. But now they got someone here on defense. But I think there's some takers out there. I know Pittsburgh's looking at him. Maybe they'll get a draft pick for Ramsey here in the short coming. Matter of fact, they're not playing. His issue is they're playing zone. He wants to play, man to man. And of course, it's a philosophy issue there with Jacksonville.
Well, Jalen Ramsey, to his credit, is very good. He's a really good cornerback. I don't know if he's the best cornerback in the league, but he's really close. So it goes back to how much are you willing to put up with diva behavior when it comes to how good a player is. And we've seen that with Antonio Brown. So we'll see. All right, so let's dive into some of these games. Dolphins-Cowboys. Man, this is a huge spread. The Cowboys are favored by 21.5. Total sits at 47. Is this too big or too little of a spread? Do you think 21.5 is too big?
Well, it's a big line there. But when you look at the Dolphins being outscored 102-10, maybe it's not big enough.
Right.
I mean, really, it's really tough to back a clearinghouse team like Miami, who continue to purge their starters for draft picks, which look at how it impacts the team. Now you elevate your reserves to starters. Your practice squad becomes your backups. And then people off the street become your practice squad. Now those practice squad guys now are on special teams. They play an important role in special teams. Now the latest move, Micah Fitzpatrick, their safety, over to Pittsburgh. And they sign a guy off the street from the former Jet in Doug Middleton. So you see the impact it has on a team here when you clear a lot of your players out. Of course, looking at the Cowboys, said Chelsa, remember we talked about it's a contract year for Dak Prescott. And Amari Cooper wants to get paid. So what? No better way to pad up your stats, get that paycheck. Like I said, I'm telling you, the NFL is turning the NBA. These guys on contract years, they want their stats. And I think this is a situation here that plays perfectly into Prescott and Amari Cooper to get the stats up.
That's a really good way to look at it. I had not thought of that. And I think for the most part, it's just the Dolphins are so bad that – that's a huge number, but any team that's the only team I'd probably take it on. Maybe the Jets, just because the Jets lost by, 30 on Monday Night Football?
Well, they lost by 20. At least the Jets, see, on that game, I would say the Jets at least they're playing hard on defense. But, the Dolphins here, again, they're going to be facing the number 2 offense in the Cowboys. They're averaging 484 yards a game. And Dak Prescott, 82% completion rate. What better way to say, hey, I want a new contract than to complete 80% of your passes? Don't forget the coach. He's also coaching for a contract next year. You know what? He may have some leverage. Maybe looking at another team, maybe a college will come in. A college team will come in and pay him a lot more money. So Jason Garrett is also looking for some style points as he's playing without a contract next year, or coaching without a contract next year.
Right, and we saw the Ravens go down there and put big points down there. So if there's any competitiveness between some of these quarterbacks, Dak Prescott may want to say, you know what, Lamar Jackson's great, but I can do that too, even though I think Dak has a much better offensive line.
Oh yeah, he definitely has. Of course, they have the running back there as well, and of course,
Yeah.
the Cowboys, they like the style points at home. They like the show. They like to put on point. To pad the points and put on a show for the fans out there. Jerry Jones likes that, and I think this sets up for a Dallas blowout.
All right, so let's move on to the Broncos at the Packers. The Packers are favored by 8 in this one. Total sits at 43. Do you think 8's too much for the Packers to cover?
That's a tough line to play. I was thinking about this long and hard. I'm going to play the under 43. And what got me with Green Bay here is I watched the game and I watched the replay several times, the 30-minute replays a couple times with this Packers team. They got out to that 21-0 lead against Minnesota, but there was still 14 minutes left in the second quarter. They went scoreless for the rest of the game. They didn't do nothing on offense. And they allowed Minnesota to get back in the game. We saw the disaster in week 1. They had both teams with them and the Bears offense. But that's what kept me away from the Packers here at -8, because they allowed the Vikings to come back in that game, and they almost lost it. And, of course, Broncos head coach Vic Fangio, well, that's where was he at the last 4 years before taking this job? He was the defensive coordinator for the Bears, so he knows Aaron Rodgers very well. And Denver has defended well, holding opponents to 315 yards a game. And, of course, the Bears offense, only 320 yards last week, I should say. But, again, Broncos a desperate 0-2 team with Flacco, the statue at quarterback. And, of course, I think they're going to look to run the ball with Royce Freeman and Philip Lindsay here because, again, when you got a statue back there on the road, you got to be careful. So I think you're going to see a lot of running plays here from Denver.
Right, and if you look at that week 1 game for the Packers, their defense actually looked pretty good, and that's something that nobody really talked about heading into the season. Obviously, the story is Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, if they're going to butt heads, because I think Aaron Rodgers is a little smarter than Matt LaFleur. That's another story. But how do you see this Packers defense holding up against the Broncos?
Well, I think they'll hold up well because we what have we seen from this Bronco offense? Very little. Right. And of course, you've got a Joe Flacco back. Listen, I was I was really animated when I talked about Flacco in our season preview. I won't get that animated this time, but you know what I'm talking about. When you have a quarterback there that is a sitting target, is not a moving target, it makes it easy for the defense. I think this is going to shape up just like we saw with the Packers in their week 1 against a quarterback who's in Mr. Trubisky, who's I don't think very effective. And I think Packers defense is going to look good in this game. And of course, Fangio knows how to defend a Rodgers in this one. So again, I think you're going to see a lower scoring game here. Matter of fact, the unders have been cashing this year very well, Chelsa.
Right. Yeah, we've seen some low scoring games, including that Packers-Bears game, the first week of the season. All right, so let's move on to the Rams and the Browns. The Rams are favored -3 in this one. Total sits at 49. Do you like that line or not?
I like the line here. I like the Rams -3. I'm going to stay away from the total. I think it's a tough spot for Cleveland. It's a short week to get ready for the Rams. And one thing with the Browns, this is just an undisciplined team. 27 penalties, 267 yards, 4 picks by Mayfield thus far. He's taken 8 sacks. He holds the ball a long time. Chelsa, that's just too many negative yards when you face a defending NFC champion that's healthy. You got Cooper Kupp back. They're splitting carries with Malcolm Brown and Gurley there in the backfield, so they're running for over 5.3 yards a carry. And I'm just concerned here with the Browns' undisciplined style of play, Chelsa.
Right. I think if you look at the coaching matchup head-to-head, Freddie Kitchens is not in the same ballpark as Sean McVay. And you mentioned the penalties, because I think that almost goes directly back to the head coach, that your team's not prepared. And the Rams, you know what, they've looked pretty good this season. 3, is that enough points, do you think? I mean, that's as close as it gets. I like the Rams here. I'm just wondering why the odds makers made it that close.
I think they looked at their first road game at Carolina, and to be honest with you, that was just an extension of the preseason for the Rams. The Rams' offense was not sharp in that Carolina game. Even though they put up 30 points, you think that they were good, but they weren't their best. That was like a C game at Carolina. And one thing to note here with this Rams team is I like the way the defense is looking. The defense, they're holding opponents here to 293 yards a game. That's 5th best in the league. And the Browns are not really getting much out of their ground game. So now you're looking at down and distance with Aaron Donald and that LA Ram pass rush. And of course, Baker Mayfield has taken sacks this year. He's throwing picks. And I think the defense here could have a good game for the Rams. And one thing to note, too, is the Browns on third down, Chelsa, just 4 of 24 conversions, 29th in the league.
You mentioned that Panthers game, which I watched it because my husband is a Panthers fan. That game was not nearly as close as the final score showed. I think it was 30-27 was the final. But the Rams, I think they dominated that game when it came to time of possession, when it came to the overall game in general. So I wouldn't take too much stock in that game.
No, I have not taken much stock at all. I don't think the Rams looked their best. Goff was not sharp in that one. And, of course, the defense did give up some points there to Cam and company. But, again, in week one, no one has film on you. So it's really difficult to really make a point of what happens. I think you get more in the game two results because, teams can strategize and make game plans against your strengths and weaknesses when they see you on film.
Is there anything else you're expecting from the Browns to see this week that we haven't seen in the previous weeks? Because they do have a lot of talent. OBJ made one of those incredible catches, and despite all of his diva behavior, that's why he's worth it. He makes some of the plays that nobody else can make. Is there anything from the Browns that, like I said, that we might see this week that we haven't seen before?
Well, one thing they got to do is they got to get, if that run game can open up a little bit, then that can buy time for Baker Mayfield in the pocket. You don't get in those down and distance situations. Look how terrible they've been on third down. They can't run the football. So when you're not running the football, teams are going to pin their ears and go after you. And of course, Mayfield trying to find his target, OBJ. But I think if we see anything improve from Cleveland that will help their chances here is get the run game going, at least have some threat of run, because the Rams can definitely, Aaron Donald can be a menace there in the pass rush.
Right. It just looks like the Rams are a more complete team at this point in time. They're better coached, I think. So you like the Rams in that one, just to recap?
Yeah, I like the Rams here -3. It opened 2.5. We saw the early money come on LA. Now, of course, we're looking here at the situation with the short week here for Cleveland. Remember, they had to play that Monday night game in New York. They come back in. And one thing to note here about this year, the road teams, Chelsa, 21-10-1 against the spread.
Right. And we've seen we have a couple extra minutes here. I'm trying to look up my stat. Oh, yeah. There's two teams, this week that are favored by more than 20 points. And that's the first time in 32 years that has happened. What do you think about the parity in the league this year? Because it almost seems like the Jets and Dolphins should combine teams to have a chance. Yeah. It's crazy.
I know the Dolphins, like I said, the Dolphins are doing what the Raiders did last year, but with a little bit more than that. But again, like I said, it's starting to look like the NBA, which is sad. The fact that teams have no hope once we start the season. That's the Dolphins. Of course, the Raiders last year moving Mack and then Cooper. But one thing with the Jets, a lot of it's with bad luck. Mono,
right,
and then you lose your second string quarterback, and then of course Luke Falk is the third string, and then of course who you're facing. Probably the best offense in football right now in the Patriots. That's just a bad luck situation for the Jets. And of course, look at the Patriots receivers. Look at their weapons in the running back position. They're 4 deep. Look at how deep they are with the wide receivers. And guess what? This might be the best Patriots defense ever under Belichick.
Right. They seem like a complete team as well. It just seems like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because the Dolphins have had to play some of the top teams in the league. I don't think they're good, but that's why we've seen some of these blowouts. Just give us a recap on where we can find your picks. I know you have a great podcast as well.
Yeah, podcast you can find over at picksandparlays.net, or at the podcast page, Cameron Ross, MLB, and some NFL coverage as well. My plays over at picksandparlays.net.
All right. Thanks again, Tony T, for your time. We are back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio with recaps of all of our picks.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. They want your money, and guess what? They can legally take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you. So what do? Fight back by letting our team of experts at the tax helpline work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws and will fight to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket.
800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. That's 800-932-1749.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down, 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you search Picks and Parlays, really easy to find. And also, if there's any games you're wondering about, they're probably on our YouTube page. We usually have game summaries and analysis and everything you'd ever want on our YouTube page. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger, and we had a great show today. We talked everything, football and a little baseball. So let's recap some of our picks, starting with baseball with Craig Trapp. White Sox at Twins, taking the Twins in this one at minus, I believe that's on the run line. And then Rays, Dodgers, taking the under, 8.5. Rangers, Astros, taking the Rangers because they are plus 400. And you know what? If you win, that's a really big win. And Craig also had a nice little college football selection for us. Notre Dame, Georgia. He is taking Georgia to cover that big number, minus 14. And then even more college football with Sean Higgs. Auburn at Texas A&M, taking the Aggies, minus 3.5 at home. Oklahoma State at Texas, taking Texas, minus 5. And UCLA at Washington, taking Washington State, minus 18.5 to cover that big number. Finally, NFL with Tony T, Dolphins at Cowboys, taking the Cowboys, minus 21.5. Yeah, you read that right. You heard it right. It's a big number, but the Dolphins are really bad this year. And the Cowboys, yeah, they're pretty good. Pretty good offense there. Broncos, Packers, taking the under 43. Rams at Browns, taking the Rams, minus 3 in that one. That's one of the more popular games to bet this week. Should be a fun one. I do think the Rams cover and win just because the coaching matchup. Sean McVay has been scheming his way with all that talent, and Freddie Kitchens has had a lot of penalties throughout the season. All right, that's our show for the day. We're back here tomorrow, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern on Picks and Parlays Radio. See you tomorrow.